Simply Fujica, a place for budding and aspiring entrepreneurs. My name is Fujica and I serve this community as a business mentor, and ultimately I help people start their non-medical home care agencies. If this is the first time that you are stopping by to my channel, I want to thank you for stopping by. And if it doesn't trouble you too much, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification so that you're notified every time I release new content. I want to start off this video with some exciting news. We did just reach 8,000 subscribers. I am so excited. And listen, I know that might be nothing to some of these channels out here, but for me, 8,000 is absolutely something to be celebrated, and I am so thankful. I am thankful that you choose my video and you help support it by subscribing. So I just wanted to say thank you. And now let's continue on our road to 10,000 subscribers. Just a quick announcement before we get started. My next webinar, a lot of you are emailing me, you're texting me, you're reaching out to me on Instagram, and you're like, when is your next webinar? So first of all, I wanted to shout out those people. Thank you so much for asking. The next webinar is going to be Saturday, May 20th. In that webinar, I'm giving you a step-by-step guide to opening your home care agency. What's especially wonderful about this is I'm taking the time to create an ebook for you, because I can't go through everything that's in the ebook, so it comes along free with your purchase. So that way you have it as a reference guide for some of you who are a little bit more visual and need that step-by-step guide. So if you are interested, I just ask that you click the link below in the video description and go ahead and register. Now with that, we're going to transition over to today's content. During a lot of my coaching conversations, I am speaking to a lot of people who are really trying to understand how they're actually going to structure their home care agency. And so for a lot of us, it's really simple. It's just you and your home care aides at the very beginning. The question that I get often is, outside of yourself and outside of your home care aides, who really should be your first hire? I think I have a couple of answers for you. So if you're interested, then stay tuned. I wanted to start this video off by acknowledging a lot of us, when we start off these home care agencies, it's very lean. It's typically ourselves, and then some of us, because I know I speak to a lot of people, you actually plan to help provide that care as you staff up, which is perfectly fine. And then you have people such as myself. When I started mine, I was not actually providing care for the client. So I was totally 100% reliant on my staff to help provide that care, which is also fine. There's two different roads to this, right? Something that I'm hearing for people who are not planning to provide the care is I'm hearing a lot of you say, hey, I'm actually going to go out there, get some education. I'm going to learn as much as I can so I can be an equal resource to my home care agency. That is very admirable. And looking back, that's probably something I should have done as well. So I wanted to throw that out there as a bonus tip. Don't forget about yourself. You will be your biggest resource to your agency, because I always recommend that regardless of the business that you have, it will serve you if you know how to do every function. The goal for you is to really hire people to go ahead and do the work of your business. But again, you don't ever want to be so dependent on somebody else that you can't perform any of those functions at any given time. But the first tip that I have for this video is to access your needs. So I have shared with a lot of you out there that initially for me, when I talk about being lean, it was lean, and it was just me administering everything, and then my home care aides, and of course my husband was there for any guidance or direction that he could provide at that time. So we were very lean. It was me doing all of the grunt work, researching how to do things, and really figuring out what processes I had to put in play. By doing all of that, you really start to see, oh my gosh, as soon as I get some help, I'm going to have the person do A, B, C. Whatever that A, B, C is for you, then that's who you should be looking for. So those roles are typically someone to do your marketing. I know a lot of you have heard that that's kind of what my downfall was. is I'm more into the operations piece. I'm more into getting the business to operate. I'm more into putting those processes together. I love that type of thing. And so when it comes to the social media aspect, the marketing aspect, not so much. That's why I really spent a lot of time telling you, hey, I needed to really outsource that and make sure that, because I knew how important it was, I wanted to make sure it wasn't skipped, and I had to make sure that that was outsourced. So I see a lot of people, the first person that they reach out to or the first person that they hire is some type of marketing specialist. I also see a lot of people hiring office managers. Now, remember, sometimes people, depending on how much you're paying for that position and how many hours you're expecting them to work a week, that office manager may encompass some of those marketing specialist positions, right? So you want to make sure that you have put together a job description that really details what this person will be doing so that you're attracting the right type of talent. The second tip that I have for you is consider your ROI, or return on investment. And in this case, I'm really not talking about financial ROI, at least not directly. But for me, I know a biggest return on investment for me was time. And I will take as much of that as I can. By having somebody, by allocating a resource to help out with payroll functions, marketing functions, really office management or administration duties, that should free up a lot of time. And really, you want to make sure that you treat that time very as valuable as it is. And what I mean by that is you don't want to have extra hours allotted in your day and now all of a sudden you're watching more TV. Because even though at first that may be fun, it's really not moving the needle forward on your business. So what are some activities that you can plan that you didn't have time to do before? So you always hear me talk about a phase one. Phase one is when you're lean. This is when you're just starting your operations. There may not be a lot of cash flow at first, right? So by the time you bring that second person in, by the time you do that hire, that is going to elevate your business, what does that phase two look like for you? Because remember, you're setting the temperature and the tone for your business. And so with now that you have decided that you need that additional help and you need to outsource some things, what are some things now that can carry your attention? Is it expanding your business? Is it the enhancement of a current service, or maybe a promotion of a new service? What does that look like for you? So now you can get back to your inner entrepreneur to see how you can now scale your business. The third tip that I have for you is make sure there's a way you can measure the results of what that person's bringing to the table. It's easy to hire somebody in to do a current function and then you haven't really heard anything. So no news is good news. Not necessarily. And so you want to make sure that you have quite a few check-ins with that person to make sure that they are in fact doing what you need them to do. And you won't know that without having some conversations or way that you can see the results of that person's effort. So what does that look like? Is that reporting? Is that a conversation? Is that a certain amount of posts if they're doing social media for you? Is it growing a certain audience so that you can see the fruits of their labor? Whatever that is for you, you just want to make sure there are frequent check-ins and there's a way for you to evaluate the performance of the person. It's funny, I a lot of times share just some of the things that happen in my business. And I remember speaking to my son at that time about someone who really wasn't doing a good job. And his response to me was, well, does that person know they're not doing a good job? And I thought, wow, I'm really doing a good job here, because even my 12, 13-year-old can speak to about how important it is that you're having conversations, frequent check-ins with the people that report into you. Because most people want to do a good job. And so if they're not, you owe it to the relationship and you owe it to that person to give them an opportunity to understand where they're falling short, but of course coach them up so that they can deliver the results that you both desire. The next tip that I have for you is a very important one, which is make sure that you have clear tasks and objectives in mind. It's easy to say what you think you're missing in your business, but how does that translate to a position? And how does that more importantly translate to the person that you're hiring? So if you're looking for an assistant, what are some things that your assistant will be doing for you? And I remember when I was looking for my assistant, I had tackled that two different ways. I tackled it in the way of, what are some things that I know for sure that I'm gonna need this person to do? And then I did a quick Google search. You guys know me and Google are best friends. So I did a quick Google search so that I could understand, what does an assistant do? So that way I wasn't putting together a list of demands that were really unrealistic. But I also created it with purpose and elevation in mind. So if this person came in hitting the ground running and they're making a huge difference to my business and difference to me, well, what's that next step so I can retain that person? So you really want to make sure that you have a clear idea of what you want that person to do. So that means developing all of their tasks and responsibilities so that they can provide that to you. So that you can make sure by the time you post your job description, it is clear in what you've posted. And when you start interviewing for that person, it is clear in the conversation and the actual interview that you have with your potential candidates. The last tip that I have for you is really allow this person the opportunity to make the job their own. As an owner, you're going to have an idea of what that person's going to need to bring to the table in order to do a great job for you. Likewise, that perfect candidate is also thinking, how am I going to make this role my own? And you actually do want a person like that, because you're not going to be able to say everything. You're not going to be able to ask everything. I love when a person can come in fully motivated and fully ready to take on this position and elevate it. If I'm in a position when I'm mentoring someone in a professional environment, that is something that I always say. How can you leave your thumbprint on the position that you're looking to obtain or that you have recently obtained? And so that's my advice to you. If you're a person that's actually seeking that position, you want to make sure that that position is elevated by the time you leave it. Okay? So as the owner, you're looking for someone who's going to have that drive, have that hard work, that's going to come in and kick that door down to get the job done. Okay, guys, so that is the end of that portion of the video. At the beginning of the video, I told you that I had an announcement. For some of you who follow me on Instagram, some of you already know what my announcement is. But for those of you who don't, I would love for you to follow me there. I really do try to drop some snippets of what I do here on YouTube, but some additional just encouragement, motivation. So really check me out on Instagram. I would love for you to follow. But what some of you have seen is I am rolling out Fujica's Home Care Academy. Now, why I decided to do this is because after doing home care licensing the course a couple of times, I've noticed a couple of trends going on. And it's really understanding that not everybody that comes to you needs the level of support and guidance made available in the home care licensing course. I am getting a lot of people who are already experiencing the industry. They just really and truly need the actual help getting the license, right? So I've come up with the academy. The academy is more of a way to get you licensed, but then really build you up quickly so that you're ready to start your business. And so I'm really excited about this. I'm actually working on an overview to give you a little bit more information. So I can throw some dates out for you. Number one, I'm excited because this is in person. So I'm excited about that. And we've already scheduled the dates. It's October 14th through 15th of 2023. So I'm so excited. I would love to see you there. It is in person. It will be in Sacramento. And so that registration link is also in the video description. So I would love to see you there. But more information to come, I promise. I'm actually excited to do a little bit of bragging about what I've put together for you. So I'm excited about that. So I have kept you long enough for this video, but I was really excited to get back in front of you, really share some more tips on getting our staff built up, getting our agencies built up. But I'm just really excited to see you as you're opening your non-medical home care agencies. One last thing before we leave, if you haven't already, do not forget to like the video. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification so you're notified each and every time I drop a new video. Don't forget to share this information too. A lot of people are looking for this information, especially those of us who are living in the state of California. Okay, that's all I have for you today. Stay blessed.